Well, on all of our handles, I think, but on the AHDB YouTube.
YouTube, yep. So whatever YouTube you want to watch on, you can watch it from there.
You're so northern, Isaac.
YouTube. YouTube. So, right, then grab a seat around the dinner table, get ready to tuck in to some sizzling conversations, some mouth-watering demonstrations, and all-round beefy goodness as we get stuck in. So tell us a bit about and what we saw today, what's happened here today. You were here for the whole day. Joe, let's start with you again.
So we kicked things off with a walk around Anna's farm here, where they're doing pasture for life, so they're grazing cattle all year round and finishing them on grass. And I think that was nice to show the chefs and the food service industry and sort of connect the dots of what happens on farm, really, so that they can take it to the end user.
What did you like about in the farm walk?
So I thought it was actually just really fascinating to see a different system, albeit yes, we're sheep at home, but different grazing system to some extent, but ultimately producing food. We're all still focused on the animal welfare elements, the sustainability elements, carbon, sequestration, etc. So yeah, a really interesting day. As Joe said, it's all about joining those dots, which you don't always join until you get on a farm.
Cool.
First-hand experience, I think, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just got it to refer back to.
Makes it much easier for them to sell and on to the customers that they work with, whoever that might be.
Yeah, exactly. They're the middleman, aren't they? So they're the guy in between the consumer and the farmer.
Charlotte, next. What did you enjoy?
I enjoyed, actually, which was surprising for me because I can't concentrate at all, the information section, which was quite good. It was like forecasts for the future, what's going on, and beef's on the up, which is absolutely brilliant. It was about the service industry and trends that things are following, what kind of foods are in and out, and I thought that was really interesting.
I thought it was interesting. Vegan food is on the down, and beef was on the up.
Yeah, excellent.
That's fantastic.
Good. No good for us sheep people though, because sheep's on down.
No, that was on the down.
Next year's sheep's going to be terrible, everyone.
What did you take away from that?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Actually, I really liked I really enjoyed watching the guys cook. So we had the chefs here cooking, and it was great to see them utilise British beef and different cuts of beef that we perhaps predominantly don't cook at home, and how to cook it and how to cook it well. And it was really well put across. We got to see them do different ingredients, different ways of brining and rubs, and I just thought it was really interesting to see that.
Yeah, I'd echo that, and kind of the prelude to that was the actual butchery part of the demonstration, and I guess maybe we're underutilising cuts of meat by not looking forward and being innovative with how we're cutting them up and giving the consumer what they really want. So yeah, all round, just a really good day.
Excellent.
And it hasn't finished yet because we're obviously going to be the stars of the show now when we get cooking.
Right. So talking about butchering, so we've got Martin Eccles. I'll come and stand here with Martin. Yeah, tell us a bit about yourself, Martin.
So hi, I'm Martin Eccles. I'm the trade butchery manager at AHDB, and we're going to do a short demo. We've got a whole rump, so a full rump of beef. So the rump coming from as it goes down the sirloin into the animal, going up onto the hind quarter. So just where the tail sits, like that. Traditionally, rump would always be cut straight back, which is fine. We've done that for years, but we can actually do better things with this. We can actually utilise this cut. We can get some really nice cuts, some miniature cuts out of it, and that's simply because by following the seams, or natural seam butchery is where we follow the natural seams. We separate the muscles down, and we create some really great steaks.
Did you guys learn anything new today about some butchering?
Yeah, the different names of all these parts of the rump, which I mean, I assume maybe people at home probably hadn't heard of them. What was?
So we have this one here, which was a picanha.
Never heard of that.
So that's the cat muscle. South America, it's just a favourite. They would never, that's what they would go for. It has like a really nice covering of fat on it. The fat really enhances the flavour of the steak. It's just a beautiful piece of meat. We then, and we'll show you
last night, weren't you, that like the fat is the bit that you want to eat out of that.
It's to die for. I know you shouldn't really promote eating the fat, but
it's good fat.
It's good fat.
It's good fat.
It's more than good fat.
Fat is good.
Yeah. As long as you
lubricate that.
You're all farmers. You're physical. You're going to be going out there. You're going to be physically doing your work and stuff like that there. So you're going to burn off.
You can eat it. You're not obese.
Right, so do you want me to kick in and I'll just do a short demo just to show how we got these steaks?
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay. So, like I said, this is the whole rump, okay? Essentially, there's 3 muscles. There's 2 muscles here, and there's 1 muscle across the bottom. The grain in these 2 muscles runs this way, okay? The one on the bottom, it runs the opposite way. So if we cut across all 3, these 2 tend to eat really, really well, and the one at the bottom, not so much so, and it's simply because we've cut it across the grain, or cut it with the grain on that one, shall we say. So how do we get around that sort of problem?
And that will affect in how we eat it.
Yeah, it'll still be a really flavoursome piece of meat. Actually, we're not really doing it justice. We can do it really, really enhance that eating experience of the end consumer. And it's a simple process. So we separate this cat muscle off, and it's just a simple seam that we go through, come down to the fat, and then we move it there. What we exposed underneath here is we've got like some connective tissues, we've got some silver skin, which is like, you know, like the gristles, shall we say. We can also trim down any excessive fat. So we'll take it down there, tuck the fat away, put my knife underneath, just gently open up that silver skin, and then what I'm going to do is just gently follow that seam underneath.
My kitchen knife could not do that.
No, mine couldn't.
Yeah.
That is he's sharp. He's done this a lot of time, but I'm a bit worried about these knives.
Don't worry, Isaac. I haven't cut anybody yet.
All right.
There's always a first.
It says this with metal gloves
Yeah,
on.
I'm just about to point that out. Like,
Yeah. So what we've done is we've removed that silver skin which is on the back there and the membrane. We turn it over. It's got a nice amount of fat on that there. And then what we can do is, like I said, normally we would have cut it that way. We turn it round, and we're going to cut it this way.
So what makes the fat that you've taken off like less edible than the fat that you're leaving on?
You've got 3 types of fat on an animal. So the external fat is called subcutaneous fat. You have internal fat, which sits around the kidneys and around the internal organs, and then you have intramuscular fat, which is your marbling, which we see in a ribeye steak or in a sirloin steak. The subcutaneous fat on the outside there, really, really flavoursome. Different aspects, different fats have different flavours. For me, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is a keeper. This one, I do like this one. It's the one that I would go for, and it's simple salt, pepper, just.
But I guess for consumers who aren't as keen on eating fat, you still get this one here, and you can kind of cater for everything, can't you?
Yeah. And the beauty of this is if you got that, you could always cut the fat off it. You could just leave the fat and then. And
can you walk into the butchers and buy them like this, or do they come as a? Do you have to ask for this? Various
butchers will go in, and they might have a different name for it. They might call it rump cap, which essentially is what it is. It's just picanha sounds a little bit sexier. It's a bit of a nicer way of the description. So we've got that there. We've got the picanha steaks. So we move back onto the main heart of the rump, if you will. And like I said before, we've got 2 muscles that sit on here. Running down the middle, there's a silver connective tissue that runs down through the middle. So what I want to do is just bring my knife in, and then I'm going to simply follow this silver skin.
I need some new knives.
Which goes along like that. When I do it, I do tend to, rather than cutting straight, I will have my knife at a little bit of an angle, so I've got a little bit more control over it. And then I can just simply follow that through, and I will show this when we get through there. So you can see we've exposed that silver crystal on there. So again, that could be something that may lead to a slightly negative eating experience. The beauty of doing it this way is we can remove it. So I put my knife in, lift, and then gently follow it along. So I'm going to remove that silver skin. Okay? So that's
makes
gone.
it sound so easy, doesn't
It
it?
does. It does. It makes it look easy as well.
Yeah, it's an art, it's a skill.
It is. I've been doing it for years. A couple of things that really help with this when I'm doing it. When I want to cut portion steaks now, it's a nice uniform shape, so I can actually cut a nice steak. So get generally a thicker steak from my portion size. So we're going to cut through some nice prime rump steaks, which come like that there.
It would be highly unusual for me to buy a jointed meat like that and not cook it as a whole thing. Price-wise, which is, like, I know you've separated this, are they all much of a muchness price-wise, or are there some cheaper cuts that say you couldn't afford the...
We, obviously, different butchering methods have removed some waste and stuff like that, so it will have an increase on the costs because we would expect it's more work. the beauty of it is when you've got to think about values in a couple of ways. If I have now bought that steak, I've taken the gristles away, so I eat 100% of that steak. If I bought something that was a bit cheaper and I didn't eat all of it, which is better value. So there's a couple of ways of looking at it really. But at the end of the day, if you get a really good steak like that, you've paid a little bit more for it, you've had a really good eating experience out of it, that's good value for money.
I guess if you're a farmer doing a boxed beef type thing, you're adding value to the carcass, aren't you? So it's a win-win.
You know, we've looked at different cuts today. We've looked about carcass balance, how we've utilised cuts out to the shoulder. The remaining muscle is, like I said, was like we call like a bistro muscle. There's a little bit of connective tissue on the back, a little bit of membrane. Gently lift your knife across. I'm going to remove that. Take any excess away from there. Trim it down that side there.
I suppose trimming these bits out will make it more of a consistent product. Because like some people get put off by beef because they have a bad experience with it, and then
or they find it hard to cook.
Yeah. And let's say because we can make it down to smaller steaks, we can get a little bit of thickness. When you want to cook a steak, medium rare, things like that. When it's a thicker steak, it gives you that ability to do that. So you have a better eating experience. It is plus all the way we're doing it. So we've taken this off here. Now we're going to cut some beautiful bistro rump steaks. So I just cut a couple there because we've got a little bit for time. So again, look at them there, highly trimmed, beautiful steaks. So we have the bistro rump steaks, which is like this there. We have the prime rump steaks, and then we have the picanhas. Fantastic.
Is there a breed that you would prefer?
I would go more personally because I'm a butcher, I'm a lazy butcher, but like that.
Yep.
I would like more consistency.
Right.
Consistency would be my key thing to go. Yes, I have my particular breed which I like to work with, like really different. I'm not going to start naming breeds because somebody's going to say, "Oh, why did you say this breed?" It's more about consistency for me.
Right. Okay.
If we get a really consistent product, it just helps everything along the line. Okay.
You said you're working for AHDB. What kind of stuff do you do for them? And why would AHDB employ a butcher?
So I actually work within the export team. So we do. We will do trade shows. We'll go out and we will just give the benefits to people on the continent. Why should they buy British beef? Things like that, because it is so much better.
And what kind of trade shows? Where do you go for those?
We can go all over. We've recently just done the RC show in Toronto, which was a really good show. That was specifically about food service. We are going to FHA, which is in Singapore. Again, that's more looking at more like the pork, and there is a bit of the beef and lamb going out there, but that's more specific to that. Later on in the year, we have the big show, which is CL in Paris. Again, about our closest.
And telling people around the world about some great British beef.
Singing the benefits of why I should eat British beef. It's just so much better than everybody else. But I won't say that. But I have to be very diplomatic, or I'll be getting myself in trouble, and you won't be seeing me again.
Excellent. You've got a fair few sharp knives there to protect yourself. But brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Guys, why are things like this here, the day we've had today, and St Martin showcase, all of that? So why do you think that's important?
For me, it actually gives me faith that we're putting our all in to producing this consistent product, and to know that there's people like Martin out there putting their all into cutting up the product to show it in its best light, and then tying it all in with a chef who's cooking it to the best of their ability. It just shows that everybody in the stages of this process are all about celebrating and promoting the reputation of and sometimes we think we're on our own as farmers, nobody else cares. But clearly after today, you can see that people care very much.
It's following a chain through, isn't it, to the end? That is the end product. So it starts with me, or, for you, and, we'll carve a cow, and you see, you nurture this calf, and then to watch it go all the way through Joe, and then, it's eating what Rebecca's producing. It's interesting to see the whole process right the way through. I
think as well today, obviously we had people from every stage of the industry, and it almost builds that respect, because they come and they see what the farmer's doing, and they can then respect what we're getting up to, and so on and so forth. We can see and speak to them, and then respect for them as well, and it brings that mutual trust together.
We were talking to someone trying to explain something, weren't we? And we explained what I did, and then we said, but then Joe's the next stage in the game, and we used each other as we explained the situation using ourselves, which is quite an interesting thing to be able to do. And I suppose if you didn't come somewhere like this, you wouldn't necessarily meet two farmers from differing ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I chatted to a couple of lads that were into NPD, and I had to ask what that is, new product development, and they were here and looking at those different kinds of cuts. So they work for a big source and plant, and selling to various different supermarkets. So, and for them to be here and see different ways of cutting it, and rather than some traditional. So, I guess all of those new types of things is important.
All them new them terms are like terrible, aren't they? It's like I was telling somebody the other day that I'm drilling. Like, what's that? And then you have to go through, and it's just like
but it goes back to you think that you think you're normal, don't you? And everyone knows what you're talking about, and they don't. Obviously, I never think I'm normal, but I mean...
I like to see that you've changed your hat. So if you earlier, Charlotte had a very bright pink one on.
Sorry.
Right, so we've got a bit of a surprise. So we've seen, we earlier today saw how it's been grown, seen how it's been cut up. We've had some cooking demonstrations today, so we're going to test your homework and see how you guys, what you've learned for cooking-wise. So I'm going to get Neil and Ben to bring on some ingredients and talk you through that bit.
We just chucked something on the floor.
Right, so we're going to divide you into a couple of teams. So if you guys come around here.
On, Jay, let's go on the winning side.
Oh no, I want to be the red team.
And so how are we going to judge this, Ben? So how are we going to...
Well, we've got a mystery box of ingredients.
Mystery.
And the guys can choose any of the steaks to cook. But first of all, we've got to put the proper chef outfits on.
Absolutely incredible.
They are.
And just as while we're busy with this, remember,
and
if you've got any questions, any comments, put it on the various different social platforms. I'll get that fed in, and there's been monitor. Mark is going to shout it in. So if you're watching from home, put those in there, and we'll get it asked from either the chefs,
right, now there's
the butcher, or the farmers.
How that's going to sit on
it? You know how it's going to fit.
Well, it just depends where some of us aren't skinny enough for that, Jay.
Oh, Jay, you suit it. They can't suit it. That's really unfair.
Get set and cook.
Wow.
That's what it says on the hat.
I mean...
This is not attractive.
The guys look fantastic.
I wonder what you guys...
We've got a harder job with these.
Why are you changing the boards?
Yeah, this isn't fair.
I've got a big head. And
we're keeping it, in proper food service, you'd have red for raw meats and green for vegetables. So it goes well with the colour coordination. I've got a nice box of ingredients here. Just to go through, it's British asparagus. Really nice, lovely, just starting off the season. You've got courgette, green pepper, some lovely vine tomatoes,
just eat them.
Some big flat mushrooms, and some wild mushrooms as well. What do you think, Chef?
Well, I think I must be missing the asparagus because I've got potatoes and peppers and I've got field mushrooms.
Tough, Joe.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That's a bit of a disadvantage there.
Tell you what, shall we do a trade?
No, it's all right.
I'll let you have a few of the asparagus if we can have some potatoes.
No.
Really meaty asparagus.
Are you joking? They're already cooked.
Give them one. We'll have all their potatoes.
You can have one potato.
We're on the
yeah, you may have one.
Okay.
I hope you're
I'll pass
artistic.
the potatoes over in a minute.
Whoa. Come on.
We'll just take the best ones and the right size and then pass.
The right size potato.
So guys, you've got about 15 minutes to create a lovely dish using the British beef. You choose now whichever steaks you'd like to use. Don't forget to marinate them, give them lots of flavour, lots of vegetables here. So try and use everything. You want lots of colour. A bit later on, we'll be judging you on taste, texture and appearance. So keep that in your mind as you're cooking. So, shall we kick off?
Hold on, so just to make clear, these guys haven't seen these products before, so have a minute or so, a few seconds to think about it.
Oh, is that what we're making?
Which steak you're going to choose, and so what you're going to do.
We'll
So maybe a couple of minutes to chat amongst yourselves.
As well, the brilliant chefs that we had here today that have been, you know, they were the ones that cooked for us today. So top chef.
Excellent, very well made point there. Thanks, James.
I just want to know where the air fryer is. So that's all I cooking at home.
I have no idea what that is.
Come on then, Joe. Come on, Ben. Come on.
So, which meat do you want to choose?
I think we should just take all of them and we'll worry about it afterwards.
Okay.
The
Picanha, I think we should go for the picanha.
Go on then.
Should we take all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can.
You're not
Are we just going to pass them on then?
Yes.
Do you think we ought
wanted
to
those
put them on
ones.
now?
I reckon you can share.
No, we want the middle ones. They look way better.
Come on.
No, but don't we want some
Come
fat?
on, we'll pick the best ones. Come on, Ben, which is the best one?
That one and that. The
They're
middle
all
ones, I reckon.
because they're expertly butchered. They're
We'll go
all
for the
cut
round
to
ones. They look
either.
nice.
Of
They look
course.
prettier.
Yeah.
We're being judged on artistic merit
Expertly
here.
butchered, but our two were a bit.
That's my only input.
Do you know, I'd grab one
Right,
of the...
I think that's enough for
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So shall we start the clock?
I like the look of this
Now,
one.
We've not
I
decided.
make that
Okay, what are you thinking?
So that's
6:53. Right,
On
ready, steady,
Okay,
cook.
on top of
We'll
the
have
steak. We can sort of like...
how to say that.
Get some of these bad boys.
Trademark on that.
Come on, yeah, bring it.
Are they cooked?
That's
Barbecue rub. Should we rub? What, do all of them
No.
or just?
Yeah, I do two.
Okay,
Can you get on the phone to our lawyers, please?
Yeah.
Wow. Which
Yeah, yeah,
one
I
of
like
the
it.
picanhas natural?
Okay.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Just so that it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which steak have you chosen?
We've gone. We've had two of the picanha
The rough
steaks,
bit.
and then we've had one of the rump, which is like
Do you reckon
traditional.
Are they allowed to do that?
Yes.
Allowed to do what?
Which is more than one steak.
We can have as many steaks as we want.
Okay,
Surely.
talk me through, why did you choose those steaks?
Picanha is something a bit different. It's not something we've cooked with before, so we thought we'll have it.
That's why
we'll
my
have that.
asparagus was always
As
so
we've
tough.
seen, it's like an added value sort of steak. It's something that's widely regarded, as you know. You've been in South America. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm supposed to be.
Give much advice.
Is that enough rub? Is that enough rub? And then the traditional rump steak as well, because we were just thinking.
So Joe,
So
you've just put the barbecue sauce on there. Why have you done that? Why didn't you not put it on there?
We heard earlier that you need to warm up your barbecue sauce
There we go.
before you marinate your steaks.
And the rump
So
steak as well.
following the
Good
Liberally.
tip.
We're going to put this on
Good
liberally.
tip. Good
Yeah,
tip.
just coating all the edges.
Red teams, and which
Got a nice
steaks have
blend
you
of
chosen?
salts and
Um,
sugars.
These ones, the bistro
Bistro.
steaks. We're going for a really kind of, it's going to look gourmet, it's going to look neat, it's going to look tidy.
Oh, you are good, Rebecca.
And do we tell you what we've decided?
Yeah, you can.
Obviously, Charlotte and I were the main inspiration behind this. We are going to do
I
a
am
kind
just
of
choosing the best
mushroom
looking
stuffed with
potatoes,
some
thank you.
ratatouille. So char grill some of these vegetables. Maybe little
Right, I've got the
snacks,
most even
get
potatoes.
steak on there, some kind of
Like,
char grilled,
hide them potatoes.
char grilled
They don't need them.
potatoes,
Hide them.
asparagus.
No, they
It's going
don't.
to be gourmet.
It sounds so. Presentation, I reckon high marks for presentation.
Yeah,
Charlotte's got a very
yeah.
artistic streak.
That's all I'm contributing towards this.
So Rebecca's going to do the first 10 minutes, and you're going to do the last.
Oh, you haven't seen me cooking.
So we've got colour and everything going through it as well.
Snaps in the right place for you. You don't need a
There's
knife.
some potatoes I nicked from over there. If you,
Oh,
if you
thank
want
you.
them.
Thank you very much.
Just soon get asparagus on them. It's got
This
fair.
just you snap the
It's
ends
chunky,
off
isn't it?
and it should snap off.
With it, Ben, do you
the
reckon we
right
should
way.
like cut these in half or
No, I
keep them whole?
Yeah, keep it really chunky. With
I'll put these on,
barbecuing
you know.
vegetables, you want good chunky items.
Right.
So, yeah, keep them whole.
What
You
about
can cut up the peppers a bit, the
into
big mushrooms.
chunks, squares, cubes, like dice, or?
Chunks, yeah,
Chunks.
or big squares. You've got a nice cool
squares,
chef as
it's
well.
round.
And got some lovely wild mushrooms here, so yeah, use them all. And the potatoes, you can
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
potatoes are a good idea. So
Into-
you reckon chunk like that sort of chunky, or
a little less, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's that sort of chunkiness.
I'd like to say that when Ben was chopping this earlier, he was doing it a lot quicker than me,
No, you're doing well.
into precision.
Right, we've got a question. Mark, shout the question out, please.
Am I cutting all this up?
Edith, what do you believe sets British beef apart from other sources? How do you incorporate into the unique culinary creations?
So we've got a question from Edith on Rebecca's. What puts British beef apart, and what makes it better than the rest? Rebecca.
What puts puts British beef above the rest?
Yep. What sets it apart?
Okay, I think that's a good question, because some of us actually went with AHDB abroad to Anuga to see what other countries were offering, and it is an eye opener that we do definitely have competition. You know, we're leading, but there's definitely people who are up there in other countries. But I think we have the climate to grow grass, don't we, here, like almost like no other country. And I think the grass-fed beef, as we heard today, has so many nutritional benefits. You're kind of increasing biodiversity by the way that cattle are grazed in this system. I think we also have very, very good animal welfare targets. Has something gone wrong?
No, Joe's just sprayed me with apple juice. Now stop it now, come on.
Yeah, did that answer the question? I'm concentrating on my mushrooms.
Part of the idea is to put you off a bit. So is the whole biodiversity really well grown beef? What else did you learn in Anuga? Shall I go? St James was over there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, go and distract him from his cooking.
James and Joe, so we've just heard that you guys were in Anuga, so the question that came in was about what sets British beef apart. Rebecca just said, you've definitely got some competition, but what else did you learn in Anuga? Some about and what's out there in the world of beef.
I mean, there's lots of countries that are selling beef. And
in a big way.
And competitive and doing a similar product, but we need to sell like our unique things about our welfare standards and things like that.
I think that was the thing when we went to Anuga is there was some incredible countries doing some amazing things and arguably as good as what we are. We always say that we are the best, but there is people that are up there with us, and that was quite eye-opening for us, I think, for all of us. But we are still, by everyone else, held on this pedestal. Like British beef is held above everybody else, despite, in some cases, just being on a level playing field with a lot of people. So I think it's really important that we almost play to that and we utilise that name that we've got for ourselves. There's a lot of noise going on behind me. I'm just like...
I'm getting worried. I'm glad I'm standing far from the fire there. So it's keeping us. So we've got a good reputation. So it's keeping that reputation. What do you think has created that reputation for us?
I just think it's something we've had for a long time. And I think because we've always had a good quality product, we've always been up there on animal welfare, and I think all of that stuff is shown throughout other countries, and other countries have followed suit, and they might be coming up behind us. But we have always been at the vanguard, at the front line of it, and they've always looked up to us as somebody who's doing the best job.
For me, it's about things like the carbon footprint. Why do you buy meat that's travelled halfway around the world when you can buy it locally and it's fresh?
Yeah.
As a chef, for me, British beef has the best taste. That's what is a real premium.
And do you think is that so not all is grass-fed, but do you think a big part of it is grass-based diets?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 2/3 of Britain is grass, and it's perfect for our cattle, and it just gives that extra flavour that you want when you're tasting great British beef.
Excellent. Right, I'm going to ask the other chef as well. So Neil, what puts British beef apart from
they're like
the
field
rest?
mushrooms. They look nice, actually.
The best.
I'm quite keen on those.
It's local. Could literally get local to everywhere that you are. It's across the nation. There's different varieties. There's so many different varieties across the country. Why would we need to buy abroad? We do it well ourselves. Let's stick to British. It's local. You've not got air miles. You've not got distance going on. It's better for the environment. It's a win-win situation.
Excellent, excellent. I'm going to have a quick look here at what is happening here with this Charlotte.
It's neat and organised. Less on fire than Joe's is. I'd say controlled.
Controlled chaos as compared to uncontrolled chaos.
Yes, I just feel like I can feel it on my fingers. I hate to think what it's doing to his mushrooms.
Any more questions? Remember, if you are watching, listening in, send in your questions, whether that is related to the butchering of it, the cooking of it, anywhere in the supply chain. Charlotte, and I'm going to come to you next. You said you really found the bit about some information and market information useful.
talk and cook at the same time.
This is the whole idea. So, have you not seen? I'm you know, so doing
Have you met me?
Keith Floyd's and
who?
what bit about the market information do you think so you can use on farm?
I know that lamb's going down next year, so I'll probably cut back. No, it's a good thing to know, isn't it? Yeah, beef seemed to be on the up. It was just good to look at people's like trends of what they're going to be eating, and you know, sort of. I don't know whether you'd necessarily tweak what kind of farming you're doing or what kind of animals you're rearing necessarily, but it's always good to be prepared, isn't it, with any information that
I guess
there
you
is.
can sort of tweak it. You might not change your whole system,
Yeah.
but you might be able to tweak it a bit.
It's also nice to know that there is resources available to be able to go to and, you know, on the internet to be able to look at these things. I didn't realise there was quite so much information out there, which is nice to know.
Excellent. I'm going to bother Rebecca. Market information. So did you find that bit interesting today?
Yeah, definitely, and I think we probably underestimate the amount of information that's, you know, being gathered in the background, and we're not yet necessarily using it on our farms or in our decision making. Yes, maybe we don't necessarily need to know that more burgers are being eaten to decide what we're doing on farm, but there's so much behind the decision making, isn't there? And actually that's informed a lot of people today on maybe what the trends are, what's coming up, what do consumers want when they go out. Oh my god. Chaos. Don't burn ours!
From my onion.
With your...
It was a fire. Put the fire out.
Yeah. Yeah, spray it.
Whose idea was this?
It's all under control, folks.
Maybe pull the wood off now.
Oh yeah, maybe pull the wood off, Joe.
You can pull the wood
I'll
off.
pull the wood off.
You can be the wood puller offer.
There you go. Hey. That's what she said. Maybe we should... Maybe I didn't do a very good enough job of soaking that bit of wood.
When Ben put his wood on there, like there was no fire, was there?
I don't know. Was it? No.
Right.
Come on, mop it.
What do you think? So how's this looking?
I think we need.
Yeah, it's all
I think you
looking
need to
good.
sauce it, Joe.
They're quite different in style. The red team have cooked everything, literally everything on there, but that's good. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's going to be very close, but we're seeing some good char grilling.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not burnt. It's char grill.
Yeah, you keep telling
I'm not
yourself.
sure you're watching the same thing.
That's a fire grill.
Oh no!
Oh, that one's on fire.
You're touching my face.
It's literally. It's not putting it out.
You're coming over halfway. You're gonna have to draw a line.
Yeah.
You're like on the bed.
So just pull the steaks
Not that.
off for a
You
minute.
know the things that you think you don't say.
Put them on here.
Yep.
Get that one. 'Cause there's some flames on there.
Yeah, that's.
Put his fire out.
It was on fire itself.
I've got another question from Robert Higgins, who's watching Joe Seals
Oh
on
gosh.
YouTube. Food miles, all the rage years ago. Is it still important?
So from Rob Higgins, watching on Joe Seals, Food Miles. What do we think about food miles? As chefs, is that something you would consider? You talked about that a little bit.
Absolutely, very important.
And do you like portray that story to your customers? Is it like on the menu?
Yeah, so at my restaurant,
That one doesn't look cooked.
the Sunday meats,
No,
so
not on
the
there.
roasts on a Sunday lunch. The beef that I use is all
Put it on the hot
local. I use a good butcher that's local. We have beef that is in the fields as you drive in and out of the village. So you can see that, and as much as possible we try and use that beef so that, you know, it is local, it's right on your doorstep. Why go further afield? We've got excellent product on the doorstep. Let's use it. Let's use what we've got locally. So very important. What have you done, girls? Oh, don't worry, just keep going.
I'm not worried.
Charlotte, how do you feel about this? How do you feel?
Hope Roy's not watching because he'll be expecting quite a lot from me from now on. I'm excelling.
Roy is chasing sheep, and we've heard earlier.
Oh,
so
he
I
is.
think you're safe.
Bless him.
So you've been warming up the barbecue sauce, really important to serve it hot or warm. You wouldn't go to a nice steakhouse and order a steak Diane, and if the sauce came out cold, you'd send it back. The same principle with your barbecuing, warm up that sauce, turn it into a hot glaze, and then keep brushing it during the final few minutes of cooking, and it just adds an extra layer of flavour.
I think you were saying as well when we were doing the demonstration, don't turn the steaks too much, is that right?
That's right, yeah. Just a minute or two on each side, but with a steak, treat it like a cube. So you want to seal off all the edges.
Right.
All the bacteria is on the outside. So providing you've sealed the outside, totally safe, you know, everyone's happy, and you can cook it rare.
Seals by name, seals by nature, Joe.
Very sharp. Are you being sabotaged there, Charlotte?
He's knocking my steak over.
So you've got about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes until everything, and to have everything like on its plate.
Yeah. Yes.
Like what? What is this?
Does anything else need this?
No, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
Have a big pot like that.
Do they need some?
Ben's the expert. Ben's like Master Chef or
Yeah,
whatever.
go for it. Knock them over. Which
So
way?
we're going to overdo the barbecue sauce.
Well, for me, you can never have enough barbecue sauce.
Okay, we'll just pour it on when we're done.
You know, that always gets bonus points.
Oh, well, if you're judging.
I'm a steak and pepper.
I nearly swore then. That was really hot.
Especially if it's barbecue Ben. Barbecue
Oh,
sauce.
of course, people. And barbecue Ben's barbecue rub. So make sure you buy it.
Shameless
It's good.
promotion.
They're going home with a boot full of.
I also
Right.
barbecue
So
Ben.
shall we start counting down on the plating
Oh, no,
up?
please don't.
Yeah, so
Couple more minutes, and then you've got to be
you've left one
plated up.
behind.
Oh, well,
No,
never leave a
no,
man behind.
no, never.
We've got him.
Right.
And what are they being judged on again, Ben?
they're on
Do you want
taste.
I think we should put like the pecan, one steak on there, the big one, and the two picanhas on
Texture and
there.
appearance.
One of them there.
Leave that
Yeah,
there
yeah.
now.
Have you got that, Joe?
Or maybe we should put
Taste,
these
texture and appearance.
two
I'm
and
just,
this.
I'm just trying on the.
What about this thing? Bad boy.
Just got to start
We should
serving
have
up.
the two picanhas. Should we cut one?
90 seconds left. 90 seconds left.
Oh, what do you mean, like cut it so you
If
can
we got
see,
one
like, the pink or
picanha,
whatever, if it's
Should
still
we?
pink.
Should? Oh, we lost the boards and
No,
stuff.
we've
They've
lost
took the knives off us. That's no surprise, is it?
Oh God, are we
Do you reckon like layer?
Do we not need the steak first? Right.
Mushroom stack.
So we can slice the steak.
Yes, Rebecca can slice steak and I'll make a stack.
We've lost all that the circle, so you're recreating.
Yes.
Forgot about the
Okay.
asparagus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mushroom. You only need one.
Just one mushroom. Oh, I don't like that look of that. Let's get rid of that.
Do I need a new board? Oh no, we haven't been on.
Smells so mushroomy.
That's straight to mouth. Red is raw. That one
Do I
is.
use a big
Wait.
knife?
Yeah. Leave it for a minute.
Oh, okay.
No, wait,
Right, let me
Nicely.
choose my best potato. Hold on. We only need one.
He's not showing
about-
off to the best of his ability.
3?
She's the arty one.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and again. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Do you reckon she's
No,
going to
come
do one
on,
of those, like a face?
Look at this.
No.
For kids.
Thank you.
Very tight together and one on top.
I reckon that left that because you don't want to.
yeah. I don't. That's just a
Oh.
fact. No, that's a
I
good
was
idea.
ruining my
Like we need to plate the other one
aesthetic
as
here.
well,
That's
don't
not what I was
Well,
going
you're a
for.
judge,
Oh,
Neil.
look
send
at
me-
that.
we? Oh, like this.
Oh, we want that one,
Oh, look at that.
obviously.
Look at the colour in that.
Oh, we got us.
We only want that bit
mushrooms
of it.
for his other steak.
Yeah, we can get rid of that.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that
That's
bit.
it.
Get rid of
No,
the
no,
At this point you
asparagus
become
for
a
now.
judge, so no, not too much advice.
Get rid of that for now. Oh no, it can't go on
Yeah,
there.
it can. Oh.
So you've got about 30 seconds left.
30 seconds, right?
Asparagus, yeah. I mean, there's that one. Is
An
that
aubergine.
classic? If we turn the burnt bit upside down, no one will know it's there.
That's perfect.
No, Charles,
Okay, that's beautiful.
Char grill.
That's beautiful.
Stacking it up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but
we've
it's
got
not
a bit
cooked,
of
Joe.
red.
All right. Okay.
Right. 20 seconds.
That
what
one's
we're doing.
lovely.
Should I
You know, this chef thing's harder than it looks,
just like
isn't it?
straight?
It is to make it look nice, isn't it?
Oh, there's one of our things.
There.
It's gone rogue.
Okay. Just you wait. Right, I need.
That one's
Has anyone got a
That's like-
syringe?
Shouldn't have had that bit.
Yeah.
10 seconds. Come on, Charlotte.
Yeah. Oh, you are so good. You are so
good.
good.
Okay.
Are you ready? Quick, do the steak. Do the steak. Do the steak.
Nine.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
7, 6,
Pull a sprig off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop cooking.
Oh, I touched you.
Stop cooking.
You put it on my.
Oh,
That's what you do.
Oh, do you?
what's going on here? Like, that's got to be. You got 10 points after that.
Well done, everyone. Shall we get the stuff off the barbecue? I'm
Oh, yeah,
worried about
maybe,
someone
yeah.
else might set fire to?
Oh, that's hot.
I know, I'm going to do it this I am. I'm going to do
Right.
this I'm going to do this
So, shall we get the two chefs?
Chef, let's have a look at your dish. That's enough. Stop,
Ladies.
Stop.
Hold on, I've not done.
We love.
It's all about the artistry.
We
Right.
love this.
You'd employ me after
Away
this.
from the plate.
Just uses his fingers. Like,
Yeah, like
Can we show that to the people at home?
Neil on the side, he does burglary because he's got no
Steak is
fingerprint.
beautifully cooked.
Uh-huh.
I do like that. Just medium rare. Lovely presentation.
Thank you,
What
thank
do
you,
think,
thank you.
Chef?
Yeah, excellent. Good range of colours. They've used a lot of ingredients. We've got a bit left over, but never mind.
I like the height and the colours.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good.
Thank you, thank
Now
you, thank
come and
you.
have a look at the boys.
It's a bit strange that you didn't comment on our 3 dots of
cooked 2
barbecue
meals.
sauce.
Yeah, that obviously made
Anyway.
all the difference.
We've cooked enough for the whole family.
So
Big family.
They can tear it with their
Yeah,
teeth,
very nice.
like carnivores.
Colour again.
Yeah.
And the steak. Let's have a
look
look.
at the presentation.
yes.
On
Oh,
Beautiful,
squeeze it.
medium rare.
The juices.
Lovely British asparagus.
Burnt.
Nice
Chard.
kebabs.
Burnt.
Looks like a twig.
No commentary from the side.
Barbecue, charring.
Looks
Well,
like a
did you like the
twig.
barbecue sauce that we made?
Look at
Ben?
that. Do you see him rip that off then?
It's down to the taste. What do you think, Chef?
Well,
Ours tastes great.
Knife and fork, please. This is a good establishment on this side.
Oh,
That does look very nice.
it's good.
I don't like that noise he made. I'm not
Yeah, I
keen
like
on
that noise.
But I mean, we use barbecue Ben's barbecue rub.
Other rubs are available as well.
From barbecue Ben.
The texture is 10 out of 10. Taste is 10 out of 10 on that.
yeah.
No
Down
one
to
goes to a
barbecue's
restaurant for
Ben's
the
barbecue
texture.
rub.
Very close.
Well, a bit controlled on the barbecuing. It's not all
No.
dark.
That's the rub.
Less char grilled.
I think we're just about there with
Right, have you got a winner? Winners?
Brent.
Yep.
We're in agreement. The winners are the red team.
Well done, ladies. Well done.
It's not worth the money.
Barbecue Ben's barbecue rub.
And our runners up, the green
Hey!
Thank you very much to our 2 chefs. Thank you for joining.
it back.
And well done, guys.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to forget barbecue out now.
Thank you, Ben.
Right.
You're welcome.
Let's talk a bit more about what we had today. Thank you.
Yeah, can we eat it?
And
Can we just
We're
eat
coming
it?
in, we're coming in.
Just grab a bit.
how does that feel?
Pass us a bit. Cheers.
That's the end of it.
That'll
So,
do.
Charlotte, I've got a question.
Carry on.
We've got to taste what
You've
we've
got to
just
taste it.
cooked.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm going to wait until
Oh,
you've got
it
a
looks
mouthful.
chewy. It looks chewy from here.
Delicious.
We're talking about that connection between what you do on farm, through to the butcher, through the whole of the supply chain, and eating quality. So, so how do you think, so you can make sure that what you've done on farm, all the hard work that you've put in, gets done justice by the time people cook that joint, that steak, those kind of things.
I think it's good how it's going to sound like I'm singing like the AHDB's praises here, but like how you guys can translate like the language of what we do to the chef and catering industry, because I know we do our bits on YouTube and TikTok, but like you're pushing it out to actually the
I think on the same
people
thread
are
as
using
YouTube and TikTok and in general social media, I think as we like to go out there and promote British farming, there are some really good pages that promote being a chef and cooking in general. And even I follow some to be like, obviously everyone does, don't they? And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be quick and easy. And there's a lot of good people out there. If you just go and look, there is quite a lot of decent creators out there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I think having that confidence to pick out that recipe, and just because you might like one element of the flavours in it, pick out that recipe, follow it, source some good products, and obviously try and buy British or local or whatever you can. And yeah, just have the confidence to cook that recipe and follow it through. again, not to sing every praise of the AHDB, but there are recipe cards created and things like that which you can just access online, and it is really helpful to give you that kickstart. And actually sometimes you need some inspiration, because if you've had a long day at work and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what on earth am I going to cook? Sometimes you just need that.
That really did
Only take 15 minutes though.
Yeah, I think it's surprising how easy it is. I think a lot of people think, oh, if we're going to cook at home, it's going to be like a 2-hour ordeal. And like you say, it took 15 minutes to burn that piece of beef. So we can all do it.
To char grill it, come on. Do you cook a lot of steak at home? Is that something you do quite a lot?
Yeah, to be fair, we are very, and I need to emphasise, we are very fortunate to be able to butcher our own, and I know that is not an ordinary thing to be able to do, so therefore we end up with a lot of meat. And sometimes when you end up butchering your own, I'm not going to a master butcher, for instance, to cut a beast up for me. I'm going to someone who does it quite basic, which is not necessarily easy for someone like me who doesn't have a knowledge. And that's why coming to something like this, it's really interesting to watch someone do it well.
And ask for something else?
No, I'll go back, and I think instead of throwing that steak that's this big on the top of the oven, I think I might actually trim it up, which is something I'd never considered doing. I always thought that more fat was more flavour, but I didn't realise that there was different types of fat, which is my ignorance. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was interesting, like the connective tissue, different ways that the grain's running, so that you can cook something that looks incredible, but if you've got two grains running 2 different ways and there's a big piece of silver skin in the middle of there, it can end up almost not being as good as what you think it's going to be.
Like some parts of the cooked will cook at different times.
Yeah,
right?
different
so some
speeds.
Bits will like break up, and then other bits will be.
Yeah, because
so just explain that again.
So yeah, we're saying that when you've got the I can't remember what.
I think we're looking at the feather. We were looking at the feather earlier. Where's Martin?
Oh, it was
the
a
chuck.
Yeah, and different parts of the chuck will cook at different times. So if you put it in as one, like some bits will be like falling to pieces, and then some bits will be big chunks still, and yeah, it was just
and chewy. And if there's parts of that, if you cut it out as well, you've got bits of it that you can eat almost like a sirloin steak, and then there's other bits of it that just need to be slower cooked. And it's again going back to the same thing of making the carcass more valuable.
And so I'll keep on coming back. How do we get, so we've had a great day here, some chefs, some industry person. How do we get that message out wider and wider to a bigger audience?
Well, hopefully, we're doing stuff on social media. That's definitely one element, and the amount of people who use social media who also maybe can't get to a local farm shop or butcher, or can't get to a local farm, can still pick up tips or kind of little tricks that they can do, or sourcing ideas, because I think sometimes we take for granted, as Charlotte said, that we just have a whole lamb or a whole half a side of beef, or a pig in the freezer. We take it for granted that we can go and get a variety of cuts just at the drop of a hat. So I think potentially we need to be understanding as farmers that there's sometimes reasons why consumers aren't always buying what we want them to buy or what we expect them to buy. But there's always going to be dots to join up, and we're just doing a small part of that.
So do you think you've got a better understanding of what consumers want or might need, or and how you can feed into that?
I think consumers want things that are quick and easy to do. Like, I cook my steaks now in the air fryer. Everyone's been laughing at that all day. But a little bit of salt and pepper on them.
I tried to cook cottage pie in the air fryer. It was a disaster. It all stop it. Well, I was in a rush, and I thought it'd be quick, and then it all fell through the holes, and it was awful. And it was such a waste of mince. It was terrible.
Mark, have we got another question in from the audience there? So from Rob Higgins, should we stop exporting?
Because we don't utilise all of the animal.
That's one important thing that we learned when we went to Anuga as well, was that we as British people consume certain parts of an animal. And when we think about exports, we often think that we're exporting a whole carcass and we're importing whole carcass. We're eating the cuts that we consume in this country, but there's other parts of the other parts of the animal that we don't consume, so like fifth quarter products that might go elsewhere and offal. And I think we talked about pork, for example, and I think there's 5.6 million pigs in the country, which obviously produce about 11 million pork loins. But in Britain, we eat 25 million pork loins, and at some point, we've got to bring that in. But we might be exporting something else in place of that, they're like trotters that we're not going to consume over here, and it's a valuable market.
What was it?
So it's something, I don't think it's something we should do, because it's
Pizzles to
important about
Peking.
knowing what exactly it is that we are importing and exporting. It's not quite as simple as whole carcass imports and exports.
And actually, those relationships have taken such a long time to build with other countries that if we suddenly said, "Oh, well, we're not going to export until we're fine domestically or whatever," I mean, I dread to think how long it would take to build up those relationships back again with other countries, and it is obviously something which AHDB do so much. Something that we've talked about before.
Yeah,
we
have.
Just didn't realise.
And I think by pulling it in as well, you'd end up with a surplus, so you lower your prices. The whole thing is just that would be very much a 2D solution to a 3D problem, and it just doesn't work like that.
I think as well, we mentioned earlier how British beef is seen as this like real quality product across the whole world. And if we take that away from other parts of the world, they are going to go elsewhere. And once they go somewhere else and they get a product that suits their system, they're not going to come back to us just because we've pulled it.
And yeah, so we did a whole AgriLeader circle, which you can watch back on. What were they called, Charlotte?
Pizzles from Peking.
So go and have a watch of that. And there's a lot of information. It was really enlightening, that whole thing about and what we do for exports and where it goes. Any more questions there, Mark? Nothing from coming in. So a bit from what you've learned today, and do you think that being at the front end of the trends and some new innovative ideas, how can we help drive beef consumption, whether it's here in Britain, hopefully, but also elsewhere, but especially concentrating on Britain?
Well, we already put ourselves out there on a daily basis, and yes, we might not be stood in front of a grill cooking every day, but armed with any information's got to be better than being armed with none. And I just think, definitely farmers have a long way to go to understanding their own systems before we start.
Mm-hmm. So, and innovative products, innovative cuts, innovative, those kind of trends. You talked about some quick, easy. What other ideas can the industry do, and the wider industry, to help push on some British consumption, beef consumption?
I think we just chipping it. We have to keep chipping away at the edges, because it's a difficult thing. You're not going to just go in there and blow it wide open from the inside, because if we could do that, we would just go in and do that, wouldn't we? We have to keep chipping away at the edges, and events like this are really good at getting people involved who've perhaps never been on a farm before. They might be cooking British produce, but they don't know where it comes from, and it's just great to get them in, get them to see the story behind it, and then they can take that away, put it in their menus. We saw on the insights that it's really important what goes on a menu from a text point of view and what people can read. And all of that thing, it helps build the story then with the consumer, who then go away, and it just keeps, it's like a snowball effect. It keeps getting further and further upstream.
Yeah, we're going to say that the research that AHDB were doing on future trends and what people were thinking were popular was highlighted in the insights talk that we had, weren't they? So it was like more experiential dining.
I was just about to say, it's even down to kind of how the restaurant's set up, and if you get something else beyond the food when you get there, which seems kind of crazy for us as producing food to say, well, how is that not the star of the evening or the meal? But actually, there's a massive experience, a whole how do you feel when you've left? And actually, as farmers, we're relying on the people further down the chain to do that bit.
Yeah, to push our product.
And I think it's probably made me realise that almost, yes, our job might be done when the animal leaves the farm, but there's so many other people that we need help from. We can't just do a good job. We need to get everybody else on board as well.
And it's building those relationships, yeah. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you what's your one take-home message from what you've seen or learned today, or something you might do differently on farm. But before that, and Carl, if you can come and tell us a little bit more about this great industry initiative that is Great British Beef Week, how it got kicked off and how people can get involved, please.
Yeah, so Great British Beef Week started, well, we're running into our 14th year now. It was started by two West Country farmers, which was Gilly Greed and Minette Batters, who quickly enlisted a raft of other lady farmers passionate about beef farming, Anna Blumfield being one here at Deersbrook Farm, and why we're being kindly hosted at this farm. It's a really great way to showcase the world of what we do as British agriculture, how we work with nature, how we keep animals in great welfare conditions, and actually how we actually produce beef fit to feed the nation. When we wrap this up, and when I usually wrap a day up, I usually say, there's a farmer, there's a butcher, there's a chef. Who has the most important part in this whole chain? Actually, it needs to be a completely integrated system, because if one part lets it down, actually the experience for the consumer is not great at all. So we need to really work hard at pulling that industry together and really featuring so that we can showcase that right the way to the world. You can get involved by going on social media, following all these lovely people through the week, following lots of other people, especially AHDB and Ladies in Beef. And when you post your photographs of your beef dishes, please tag in #GBBW24.
Excellent, Carl, and well done on a brilliant day today. And the feedbacks have been amazing from everybody that was here. So thank you very well. Thank you very much. Right. So the question of your one take-home message from today.
Charlotte and I are better at cooking than.
Yes, I completely agree.
And are you going to hear that for?
I have myself.
I wouldn't go that far. We've not tasted it yet. So.
If Roy is watching this.
If I could see yours through all of that barbecue sauce, I might, consider it.
So, Roy, if you're watching this...
No, don't say that. Stop it. Don't get any ideas. I'm still saying rubbish.
One take-home message.
It was very interesting to see somebody else's system and just have a walk around someone else's farm. I think when you're down a lane on your own, you very often get quite tunnel visioned into what you're doing, what you're trying to get to, your own goals. And I think it's just nice to be able to step back for even just a day and just have a look at the broader picture and realise there's other people doing different things to you with the same goal, which is still producing, meat at the end of the day.
Excellent, working together.
Yeah, I think the insight for me was just seeing that everything we're doing from the statistics that we saw earlier on is working, and what the AHDB are doing, what we're doing as farmers, as people on social media, just keep chipping away at it, and it is making a difference, and we are getting somewhere, and it might seem like a long, hard slog at times, but it is working. We just need to keep arming ourselves, beating against that misinformation, and keep pushing forward, really.
I was just loving that, the vegan food was on the down, and the was going up. But I like that the innovation in the butchering world, because I just thought you cut an animal down like this, you get this steak, that steak, and another, and then it's just nice to see that there's different things that can be done. So that was good.
You've got to keep on looking at different things and innovate. So
different trends and things. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, of course, to everybody that joined in at home, you the guys that really make it worthwhile. But there's a lot of thank yous. First of all, thank you to our 4 farmers in the room. A massive thank you to our chefs, Ben and Neil, Martins, and for the butchery demonstration, Carl for putting all of this together, and all the people that helped Carl. There's a big teams and behind that, Marks and Ben, all of those guys, thank you very much. But of course, a massive thank you to Anna for hosting it and everybody else here. So thank you very much and good night.